around the nation, to every corner of the world, delivering the stories that matter. This is First Next News.
The Middle East is once again on the brink of a dangerous escalation. The United States has launched another wave of military strikes against Iran after 2 American service members were killed during an Iranian missile and drone attack in Jordan. The latest exchange has heightened fears that the confrontation between Washington and Tehran could develop into a much broader regional conflict. With explosions reported across Iran and neighboring countries, world leaders are watching closely to see whether diplomacy can still prevent an even larger war. According to the United States Central Command, the latest operation was intended to weaken Iran's ability to threaten international shipping to the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important oil routes. American officials said the strikes targeted surveillance sites, military logistics infrastructure, underground weapons storage facilities, and maritime capabilities. Transport routes leading toward Bandar Abbas, Iran's largest port near the Strait of Hormuz, were also reportedly damaged. Washington insists the objective is to reduce Iran's military capability rather than widen the conflict. The latest strikes follow the deaths of 2 American service members who were defending against what the U.S. military described as Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks in Jordan. A 3rd service member remains missing, according to U.S. Central Command. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth described the fallen personnel as heroes whose sacrifice would strengthen America's resolve. Their deaths have significantly increased pressure on the White House to respond forcefully and demonstrate that attacks on U.S. forces will carry serious consequences. Iran responded with equally strong warnings. Shortly before the latest American strikes, Iran's supreme leader declared that the United States would receive unforgettable lessons if attacks on the Islamic Republic continued. Iranian state media later reported explosions near Bandar Abbas and Qasem Island, while Iranian news agencies claimed American forces had struck areas near Sirik. Iranian authorities said there were no major casualties or significant infrastructure damage from those attacks, but the exchange of military action shows that neither side appears willing to back down. The confrontation is no longer limited to direct exchanges between the United States and Iran. Reports indicate that Iranian missile and drone attacks have targeted several American military bases across Gulf countries, including Jordan. The Gulf Cooperation Council has condemned attacks on civilian infrastructure in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan, describing them as violations of international law. Its Secretary General warned that deliberately targeting civilian facilities could amount to war crimes and further destabilize an already volatile region. American officials say this marks the 7th consecutive night of strikes against Iranian military infrastructure. According to U.S. Central Command, operations have focused on degrading surveillance systems, logistics networks, underground weapons facilities, and maritime assets. Iranian media reported that electricity and desalination facilities in Hormozgan province were also damaged. One desalination plant was reportedly destroyed, disrupting water supplies for around 10,000 residents, while another facility on Qasem Island sustained damage. Iranian authorities also acknowledged attacks on parts of the country's power infrastructure. The Strait of Hormuz has become one of the central issues in this confrontation because it carries a significant share of the world's oil exports. Any disruption to shipping through the narrow waterway could have serious consequences for global energy markets. The United Arab Emirates has called for immediate restraint from all sides, warning that continued military escalation could threaten regional stability and international trade. UAE officials also stressed the importance of keeping the Strait of Hormuz open to ensure the uninterrupted movement of commercial vessels. Security concerns are now extending beyond the immediate conflict zone. The U.S. Department of State has advised Americans throughout the Middle East to exercise increased caution because of heightened tensions. Officials warned that flight cancellations, temporary airspace closures, and travel disruptions are possible as military operations continue. The advisory also cautioned that groups supportive of Iran could target American interests not only within the Middle East, but also at locations associated with the United States elsewhere around the world. Military analysts believe the conflict presents enormous challenges for both governments. Former U.S. Defense Intelligence Analyst Karen Sodkamp noted that a large-scale ground invasion of Iran would be extremely difficult because of the country's geography and military capabilities. She also pointed out that prolonged military action remains unpopular among many Americans and has generated concern within both major political parties. Rising fuel prices, the possibility of additional American casualties, and the risk of damaging relationships with Gulf allies further complicate Washington's strategic decisions.
From around the nation to every corner of the world, delivering the stories that matter. This is First Next News.